what's happening with Chinese buying, the Chinese government or Chinese nationals buying farmland, and I've got a map, if I can find it, of where they're buying this land, and it's around U.S. military installations. They're buying up land around U.S. military installations, and so when you look at the amount of land that they're buying, it's not all that much. I mean, it's a lot of land, but given as much land as there is, it's like maybe less than 1%. But when you look at it strategically around military installations, it's really concerning, and then when you look at what's happening at those military installations that they have land around, like B-2 stealth bomber training, drone training, and all, it's very, very troubling.
God, it's so strategic where it's all placed.
Yeah, if I can get a hold of that map and show it to you.
It's kind of crazy that the United States has been invaded. And when did that start? With the purchase of farmland?
You know, it's been going on.
For how long? Like when did it? So this is talking about. Sun owns 40% of Chinese-owned land in the U.S. He owns over 100,000 acres of land in Valverde County, Texas. Although his two companies, Brazos Highland Properties and Harvest Texas, through his two companies, his purchases in 2016 and 2017, his plans to build a wind farm, as well as his purported ties to Chinese military, drew scrutiny in Texas several years after his acquisitions. He ultimately was denied permission to proceed with his wind farm plans. So they own the land, but they won't let him proceed with the wind farm.
Yeah, and they're building a wind farm where it's not very windy. But it does butt up against a strategic military installment.
What a coincidence. This is the best land that was available.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So,
how would that be possible here under logical laws? Because in China, you can't do that. They're smart. You can't just buy their land.
We absolutely cannot buy farmland there.
No, you can't buy their businesses either.
Now, we had a man on talking about this, a farmer, and he said they also own the grain elevator where we sell our grain. The Chinese own that. The Chinese government owns that. So, and I said Chinese government. Chinese own that. Now, is it the government? Is it a government agent who owns it? He said it's Chinese owned and controlled. If they decide to stop buying his grain, I said, what happens? He said, well,
fucked.
We're out of business.
Yeah. And then you take that, on top of that, the topsoil crisis in this country.
Yeah.
They've got like 60 more crops left.
Yeah.
Unless they do something radical to change it.
And again, I want to be real careful about how I talk about this, because I'm not trying. Look, we have so many Chinese Americans here that are wonderful people that contribute so much. I don't want to say anything to create any animus against these people or Chinese people in general. So many of these people are trying to get away from the Chinese Communist Party. They're just trying to get away from them. How they're getting out, I don't know. It's a long way and it's expensive, and you don't just wake up in China and say, I think I'll take a vacation. That's not how that works. You got to get a visa, right? You got to get permission to leave. You got family back there. I don't know how they're getting out, but I know that we've got an awful lot coming across our southern border, and when military-aged Chinese men are showing up at the border, and it's mostly in California where they're showing up, and it's an awful lot. You really,
wild.
You really have to wonder. You really do have to wonder.
Did you ever think you'd be in a position where you'd be talking like this?
No.
Because it sounds conspiratorial, right?
It does sound conspiratorial, and I deal with psychological issues, But these are issues that are on people's mind now. They're saying, I'm anxious about this. It bothers me. I feel like my family is under attack here. We don't have the peace of mind that we used to have. We don't have even farmers are saying, this is troubling to us. We don't know what to do about this.
Yeah.
We don't know how to feel about it. We don't know what to say about it. And nobody's talking about this. Well, I'm talking about it.
Well, I'm glad you are. Because if not, we'll be talking about it when it's too late. And we'll be saying, how the fuck did we not see this coming?
And what I want is, I think if people will start talking about it, people will hear us talking about it and say, these aren't crazy conspiracy guys. These are pretty commonsensical guys that are saying, we should just ask the questions. We should be asking, why isn't anybody asking the questions? And we're not the only people asking the questions, but we're certainly have big microphones to be asking the questions with.
It's just a complete failure of corporate media that they're not asking these questions.
Yeah, and that is the entire reason that I did this network, Merritt Street Media. Robin, and I was sitting at our kitchen bar at our house in California, and I was flipping back and forth between different news networks, and I was so frustrated. I said, why won't somebody just tell the truth? Why does everything have to be spin? Why didn't somebody just say what's happening and let us do it? The media just won't say it straight. And she was sitting there eating, she didn't even look up. She just said, well, you are the media. And I thought, yeah, well, and she said, you have a bigger audience than those last three combined, so why don't you do something about it? And it really kind of hit me hard, and I thought, why don't I do something about it? I mean, why don't I create a platform to just ask the questions and tell the truth without all the spin and let people make up their own mind? I mean, somebody needs to say, have you thought about, or did you know that last year 33,000 plus Chinese came across the border illegally? Did you know that? And I just want you to know, and do with it as you will. And if it causes you to start asking questions and writing your congressman or asking questions of them, then great. But you ought to at least know this is happening. I don't want you to come up 5 years from now and say, well, nobody ever said anything to me. Well, yeah, they did. I raised my hand and I said it. And maybe it'll cause somebody else to say it, and somebody else to say it.
Has anybody had a conversation with you about this that has an opposing perspective?
Oh, of course.
What is their perspective?
Their perspective is these aren't illegal immigrants. You can't. That's not kind to say they're illegal.
Okay.
Well,
we've always used that term for lack of a better term.
Well, okay. So
undocumented. What do you want to call them?
Well, that's unkind. They're migrants, and I understand they want to be here. I don't begrudge them that. If I was living over there, under an oppressive government like that, I would want to be gone, and I totally get it. I would want to be out of there. I really do. I get that, but that doesn't change the fact that we have to pretend that we don't know what's going on. We need to be aware of it, and if it means that we need to say, look, this is concerning. We shouldn't be selling farmland around military installations. There's a lot of land to buy. Wonder why they're buying it right up against military installations.
Have any politicians talked about this? Has Trump ever talked about this?
Not that I am aware of.
Why would that not be something he would bring up?
Well, you would certainly think he would.
Yeah. I mean, I know he's talked about the border, but I don't think he's talked about it in depth. Is it possible that he's not aware of it as far as the way you're aware of it?
God, How could he not?
How could he not be? But then again, the guy's got like 5 legal cases going on. He's running for president. He's selling sneakers.
No, I saw
fresh.
that he was
I'm
selling.
getting a pair for Tony Hinchcliffe. They're perfect for him. They're gold. They're gold sneakers. He's got like 3 pairs. One's white, one's red. Yeah.
Wow, that's rough.
Hey, stop it, Jamie.
$400. That's like expensive.
Oh, I heard there was 5,000. That's what I think they're already sold out. They're selling them online for $5,000. Because we were gonna wear them for Sober October.
Okay,
Look at those things. Look at these monstrosities. Look at these things.
Oh wow! You're gonna get a pair?
Oh hell yeah! I can see
Okay.
Dr. Phil rocking a Trump gold.
How do
shoes.
I airdrop something to you?
Oh, here we
how
go
do you
again.
come up?
It'd be like Jamie's MacBook Pro,
Got
MVP.
it.
Got it.
Bam.
I just airdropped this to you. It says waiting. Okay.
What is this?
This is this map with the military installations. You got to look at this.
Is it similar to what he just showed?
No.
Jamie just showed where the farmland was.
Yeah.
So
This is different. Look
Okay.
at this.
So there's the military.
That's the farmland. There's the military installations on top of it.
Oh wow. That's crazy.
Look at that. Now, is that?
Look how much farmland they have.
But is that accidental? Come on. That's not random.
It doesn't seem too random, but it also seems amazing how much farmland they have.
Yeah.
Was this always legal? Is that the part of the problem with our open society? That any foreign country can come over here, any foreign investor can come over here and buy land?
Well, I thought there was restrictions on what foreign entities could buy.
So number one is Canada. Canada has the most farmland. They own 12.8 million acres here. Netherlands owns 4.9. Italy owns 2.7. UK 2.5. Germany 2.3. And China
380,000.
380,000. And this is as of 2023, June of last year. Yeah, it seems pretty strategic where it's owned. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you put that back up for a second, let me tell you what's at some of these places.
What it says right at the beginning is
Land near the Air Force Base in Grand Forks, North Dakota, sending lawmakers into a frenzy in 2021. Yeah, you know, there's another thing that Mike Baker, who's from the CIA, had brought up, is that one of the things that they're doing is selling cell phone tower equipment and selling routers and undercutting other companies and making like really good deals so they can set up these cheap routers and cell phone companies. And you know, a lot of these have been proven, especially with the company Huawei, right? When they outlawed Huawei from selling phones in this country.
Yeah.
They were proven that some of their technology has third-party access. They can do things and siphon information and perhaps even, you know, intercept cell phone signals.
Yeah. Well, at that where they bought in Utah, it's the largest supersonic authorized restricted airspace in the United States. They've got land right next to it. Whitman Air Force Base, B-2 Spirit Stealth Bomber Base, missile and drone operations, MQ-9 Reaper, Global Strike Command, 3 intercontinental ballistic missile wings, and they're right next to it. Fort Liberty, they're right next to it. I mean, all of that stuff. Why would you want your biggest global threat next to those? You have no idea what they have there.
I don't play StarCraft, but I imagine if I was watching someone play StarCraft and all this was setting up, I'm like, oh, they're going to get smoked.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's just.
It's insane.
I think you got to be concerned.
But it's just weird that it's legal. It really is. It's really weird, and especially given what we know about Chinese corporations, that they are a part of the government. They work hand in hand. They don't get to be independent.
You what, mate?